Well, thank you again for joining us, Franco. It's very, very nice to meet you. So head of smart infrastructure at Siemens, that sounds like a big job. Could you start by explaining to us what smart infrastructure actually means? What does it encompass?
Great. So Claudine, let me visualize it in sentences here. Power is generated somewhere and by different means, could be gas, could be coal, could be nuclear, etc. And then it gets transmitted through the lines that we see above or below ground. And then it needs to be distributed. So we take it from after transmission with our medium voltage, if you may, and then we distribute it throughout the decentralized power distribution system via smart grid and smart components. And then we take it all the way in to where the buildings are. So we power buildings. So we're able to turn the lights on, computers on, and so on and so forth. So smart grid via smart buildings is what make smart infrastructure.
Okay, so it's basically the magic behind the scenes that we can't see. That makes
you know what?
everything
A lot of it is that it's just sitting somewhere. We take it for granted, but there's a lot more behind it. Absolutely, yes.
So where are you seeing the biggest opportunities at the moment, and what do you think are the growing trends?
Good question. So the technology and the effort is being spent right now at the grid edge, if you may. And what is grid edge? Grid edge is where it's an intersection point where consumer and producer and energy market and intelligent grid all come together. On the side of the buildings, on the outside of the buildings, if you may. And there we have wind, we have power that's generated, as an example, from wind, from solar. It is stored, and so on and so forth. So all of that have to be monitored and controlled in a way that is via microgrids or via intelligence to make sure that we consume what we need to consume, we put back what we don't need, et cetera, et cetera. So there is new business models and technology developing for aspects of making that an efficient way and utilize the renewables as part of and plus the energy supply system. So that's where we see an opportunity here besides the traditional opportunities. The other thing is obviously energy and sustainability. Okay. Everybody is, for the most part, is concerned about the environment. And if it's not the environment, is how do I reduce my cost? Okay, how do I attract people to come into my assets, my buildings? What am I known for? So energy and sustainability is a big thing across all verticals, across all markets. So this is also a huge opportunity for us to implement the smart technologies and smart solutions to enable our customers to achieve their KPIs and their targets.
What are, in your opinion, the new technologies under development at the moment that you think have got the most power to change our lives in the next couple of years?
Claudine, it's really a combination of things. Now, let's take a look as an example what smart cities are. They're basically human-centric cities. They're resilient to change, they're safer, environmentally friendly, traffic is controlled, et cetera, et cetera. So how do you make that a human-centric or smart city? How do you make a building more prone to and intuitive to its occupants' needs versus we build a building, we put people in there. We build a city and we just make it dumb and we just operate it with all these subsystems. So technology is evolving to make sure that all these systems and all these KPIs that we want to manage within those cities and or buildings are tied together in a way that we can extract data from them. So from that data, we can analyze and make it smaller data so we can make smarter decisions on how to operate our buildings, how to operate our cities, how to operate our water, and so on and so forth. So the technology is moving into a digitalization world. So digitalizing all these systems and components so we can interact with them. We extract the data, look at it. Data has always been there, but looking at it and analyzing that and taking smarter decisions is the trend right now. So it's really a combination of many aspects of technology.
Would you say then that this, the situation that we've found ourselves in this year with COVID-19 and a global pandemic, do you feel like it's fast-tracked a lot of this technology now?
Absolutely. It's actually in leaps and bounds. It fast-tracked it. It put the focus on it, and it accelerated that. And I'm not talking about just people returning back to offices. That's just one aspect of it. With the current economy, people need to be more efficient. They need to produce better products, more efficient, to be more competitive, reduce cost. So how do you do that? Digitalization is the way to enable you to do so. So it accelerated the whole digitalization approach to across the board.
So we've talked about how this year has kind of fast-tracked a lot of these technologies. What other impacts have you kind of seen to your business this year? Because it's been a crazy year.
Yes, so there is the obvious impact, which is projects have been slowed down due to other priorities taking place. So that has impacted a lot of industries around. But like I said, with crisis, there are always opportunities. How do you mitigate all the aspects of dealing with COVID-19 era, safety of people, into an infrastructure that wasn't ready for that? Okay, so that's where the opportunity is. That's where the biggest impact for us is how do we implement technology and solutions and services to offset the impact on our customers of lack of resources, lack of accessibility, potentially lack of funding, et cetera, et cetera. So we have programs where we're enabling customers to achieve optimal energy efficiencies with some, as an example, financial models, et cetera, et cetera. So that has also accelerated, that side of the business. So what we want to do is really help our customers, the markets, the cities and the countries that we live in to cope with this epidemic in the best and less impactful on the future of what they're doing. So just to keep it rolling in a safe way, in an efficient way. So reducing cost at hotels, reducing cost at hospitals, adapting hospitals to accept COVID patients, etc. That's what we're doing. Data centers is now it's probably one of the fastest growing, not because it's just the infrastructure itself or the market itself, the demand for data. COVID kind of united the world, if you may. So there's a positive aspect of it. So everywhere from China to Russia to the US to Malta, they're all dealing with COVID in the same way. And they're collaborating in the same way on how to control it. So that utilizes exchange of data and so on and so forth. So the data center market is exploding. And this is one of our sweet spots to enable it to run efficiently in uptime, et cetera, et cetera. So there are multiple different venues of technology and opportunities that have come up from this epidemic that we found ourselves to be right in the center of it to help our customers, the governments that we're working with, the private entities that we're working with to deal with this COVID-19 impact. We've helped them erect hospitals in no time with technologies that could take a few years to implement in a typical project. So for us, it gives us pride, and it also part of our social responsibility, and also it's our sweet spot. It's our technology. So we're proud to say that we're keeping people safe.
That was great. Thank you so much, Franco. Thank you so much for joining us today. That was all of my questions.